Late one evening near the small Irish island of Arran, something resembling a flare lights up the dark sky. The crew of a nearby fishing trawler, the Sea Harvester, contacts the Coast Guard, but they are informed that no distress signals were issued. Driven by curiosity, the sailors move closer to the area where the mysterious object fell. One by one, they step out onto the deck and vanish overboard. The next morning, Officer Kieran O'Shea wakes up with a severe hangover, just as a female officer from Dublin, Lisa Nolan, arrives on the island. Lisa is intrigued by the peaceful and scenic place, where she believes nothing out of the ordinary could ever happen. Kieran picks her up in his car, and she immediately notices his disheveled state. He takes her to the station, while, at the same time, Dr. Gleason discovers dead whales washed up on the shore, with deep, unnatural wounds on their bodies. Lisa meets her new colleagues, and though Kieran is surprised by her unexpected arrival, he accepts the assignment. Meanwhile, fisherman Paddy Barrett finds a peculiar creature with blue tentacles in his lobster trap. When the creature spits a foul-smelling liquid at Paddy's friend, Murphy, the two are mystified, having never seen anything like it before. As the police respond to Dr. Gleason's call on the shore, they encounter marine ecologist Adam Smith. Smith explains that while marine life does sometimes wash ashore, the injuries on the whales were inflicted at sea, not from hitting rocks. Paddy, fascinated by the creature, takes it home and places it in his bathtub. Kieran arranges for the whale carcass to be transported to a lab so Smith can study it. Just as the workers are about to leave the beach, one of them spots a strange, egg-like object in the sand. As he digs it up, an unknown creature suddenly attacks him and drags him into the sea. His supervisor eventually searches for him but finds nothing. Later, Kieran and Paddy cross paths at a local bar and hear news of the disappearance of the fishing crew from the night before. Paddy tells Kieran about the strange sea creature he caught, but Kieran dismisses it and heads home. Meanwhile, Murphy hears a knock on his door late at night and opens it to find fisherman Cooney acting oddly, as if inviting him to dance. Murphy steps outside, only to be dragged onto the roof by an unseen force. His wife tries to hide inside, but before she can block the chimney, something pulls her up through it. Kieran, heavily intoxicated, knocks on Lisa's door. She suggests he head home to sleep, puzzled by his constant drinking. Kieran, confused by her abstinence, passes out as she tells him it's bedtime. Back at his house, Paddy finds the creature gone, replaced by an egg. Strange slime trails cover the walls, and suddenly, tentacles descend from the ceiling. The creature attacks him, but Paddy manages to rip the suckers off and stomp it to death. In the morning, the hotel owner advises Lisa to look out for Kieran, explaining that he drinks to cope with his late wife's memory. Lisa, who left Kieran at the station the night before since she didn't know his address, receives a call from Paddy. He's eager to claim a reward for the monster he killed, now stored in Smith's lab. Paddy calls it a grabber, those Smith objects, stating that they should properly classify it, as he's never seen anything like it. Unsure if it's even dead, Smith explains that its tongue shoots out like a frog's and has holes for sucking blood, similar to rare deep-sea vampire squids, giving it an almost alien appearance. Smith shows them how the creature's skin glows once the slime is wiped away and theorizes that it needs blood and water to survive. Paddy, ever the opportunist, asks if it can be sold on eBay, but Smith warns him against it, explaining the specimen is pregnant, evidenced by an egg. Later, Kieran speculates that the creature might be linked to the whale deaths, but Lisa is skeptical, given that the creature is far smaller than the carcasses they found. Shortly after, Kieran and Lisa find Cooney's car near Murphy's house, where they see strange debris on the roof. Climbing up, Lisa discovers remnants of a dress, presumably belonging to Murphy's wife. As she pulls at the fabric, a round object shoots out of the chimney and lands nearby. The round object lands directly on Kieran's head, and he yells in pain, only to fall silent when he realizes it's Murphy's head lying before him. The police bring the horrifying discovery to the doctor, who is at a loss to explain who or what could have caused such brutality. Their conversation is interrupted by Paddy, who takes them to his home and shows them the wall damage and the bathtub lying on the lawn. Kieran spreads out a map and marks the locations of the incidents, noticing they all occur within the same bay. This pattern suggests a male creature may be hiding there. Paddy recalls the area near the Black Rocks, where there's a cave, and the group heads there. Kieran and Lisa enter the cave and soon find a fishing vest. Meanwhile, Paddy discovers eggs in the sand, ready to hatch. Suddenly, Kieran shouts, startling Lisa, just as a massive alien squid emerges in front of them. They rush out, grabbing Paddy along the way. Later, They attempt to call for assistance and are only taken seriously when Lisa confirms the danger. They hurry to the lab, where Smith concludes that the whales served as food for the creatures. Kieran drenches the female creature's remains with a flammable mixture, certain the male will come after her. He sets her body on fire, but the sprinkler system activates, putting out the flames. The temperature change somehow revives the female, and she awakens. Smith grabs a chair, Lisa arms herself with a knife, and Kieran rolls up a magazine. But they're still unprepared when the alien creature wraps its tentacles around Kieran's head. Smith and Lisa manage to pull it off him, and it spits out human blood before collapsing, lifeless. Although Smith mourns the loss of such a discovery, Lisa suddenly realizes that if the whales are all gone, the newborns will need another food source. At that moment, Patty returns to the lab, and everyone marvels at his survival. He casually mentions he was drunk, prompting Kieran to realize that the creatures must have an allergic reaction to alcohol. Since help will arrive by morning, Kieran suggests they gather everyone at the bar for a massive drinking party to survive the night. They inform the bar owner, Brian, of the danger and show him a piece of the creature. Skeptical but willing to help, Brian agrees. Lisa, horrified at the thought of drinking alcohol, reluctantly agrees, and Kieran offers to stay sober to keep an eye on things. After a few drinks, Lisa loosens up and starts playfully mocking her friends. The doctor takes a sample of Lisa's blood to test on a newborn creature, which dies almost instantly. They conclude that the alcohol needs to be strong for it to work effectively. The team heads to the church, where they gather the island's residents, inviting them to Lisa's honorary party. Soon, the villagers are partying at the bar while Kieran and his team take inventory of their weapons, which include a nail gun, a toy gun without bullets, a flare gun, and a water gun that Brian plans to fill with gasoline for a makeshift flamethrower. As the rain pours down, Lisa and Kieran sit in the car on watch. Tipsy, Lisa admits she likes Kieran, but he, not used to sober confessions, suggests they discuss it in the morning. Meanwhile, the doctor steps outside and spots the beach swarming with small creatures. One latches onto his face, and his scream reaches Kieran and Lisa, who rush to his aid. While Lisa throws the creatures away, Kieran frees the doctor, but a gigantic male alien appears from behind the house, devouring the doctor. Kieran and Lisa hide in the car, but the creature grabs it, shaking them violently. Just then, the police siren blares, startling the creature, which drops the car. Brian opens the doors, letting them in. Seeing the commotion outside, Kieran and Lisa manage to dash into the building. Brian asks Smith to light the candle on the gasoline-filled gun, but Smith struggles to get it going. Determined to set the monster on fire, he rushes outside, but the candle is quickly extinguished by the rain. Kieran barely manages to pull Brian back to safety. At this point, Brian realizes they need to switch out the barrels, or they'll soon run out of alcohol. As people start heading home, Kieran tries to stop them, and Brian blames Patty for bringing the creatures to the island. A fight ensues, during which a drunk Smith stumbles outside, attempting to take photos of the monster. The creature grabs Smith with its tentacles and throws him across the field. Kieran orders everyone to run upstairs, and the group watches as the monster crashes into the wall, trying to force its way inside. The baby creatures soon start jumping into the bar. Kieran manages to lock the stairwell doors, but he realizes he has to explain everything. Just then, the male creature begins pounding on the door. Patty reminds them that the female had marked Kieran, meaning the creature wants to mate with him. The group tries to devise a plan, but they're unarmed and unsure of how to handle the situation. Lisa recalls the construction loader, reasoning that if they can trap the creature and keep it from reaching the sea, it will die. The problem is, the truck keys are downstairs. Kieran can't get past the monster, so Lisa volunteers, arming herself with a nail gun. Completely tipsy, she heads downstairs, where the baby creatures are causing chaos. She takes out a few of them, finds a bottle of alcohol, and finally grabs the truck keys. Suddenly, the alien's tentacles break through the door. Lisa lights a match, runs, but trips, setting the bar ablaze as the monster pulls her outside. Lisa fights back and narrowly escapes. Smelling smoke, Kieran climbs out the window and sees Lisa driving the pickup truck. He jumps into the truck bed, and they speed toward the construction site with the creature in hot pursuit. Upon arrival, Kieran lures the monster to a pit containing barrels of fuel and prepares to shoot the flare gun. But the creature grabs him and drags him into the pit. Lisa arrives in the loader but loses control, causing it to fall on the monster, trapping it. As they begin to celebrate, a tentacle suddenly wraps around Kieran. The creature opens its mouth, ready to devour him, but Kieran quickly pours alcohol from his bottle into it. The creature tosses him aside, and Lisa seizes the moment to fire the flare gun. The monster erupts in flames, exploding and burning to ash. The next morning, the islanders wake up, regretting the end of such a wild night. Kieran tosses away his flask and kisses Lisa. Meanwhile, a baby alien squid prepares to hatch from its egg on the shore. An excellent indie comedy, unexpectedly heartfelt, funny, and charming, with great performances, clever jokes, and a surprising romantic twist.